Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with a comic book that I never thought I would physically be touching in my hands. And needless to say, I'm squealing inside. Today we're going over Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #4 from Mirage Studios. Guys, I see the prices that these books go for, and I don't know how I got lucky with this one. I'm not meaning to gush, but oh my god. And one thing I am going to be honest about is the original. This is a second printing. The original one is like a green, it's white and then like green sketch. And it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. But then they went back and they did a second printing of this. And I think his name was Michael Dooney, I think was the artist on this one. And if this looks familiar to you guys, and another thing real quick. Lucky. It's a wrap cover. Oh, it's so beautiful. Now, gushing aside again, if this looks familiar to y'all, this was the cover that they used for the original, what was it, 89? 88, 89 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game for the SNES. And I remember as a kid seeing the cover, I was like, why do the turtles all have red bandanas? Because at that point, I'd just been introduced to the cartoon and the Archie comics. So I had no idea what this was all about. So going back, seeing this, it's like a time capsule of my childhood and just so awesome, so awesome. Anyway, let's dive into this. The print date on this book was, I believe, May of 1987, I think. Yeah, May of 87. Now, to kind of bring you all up to speed, well, real quick, let me find the credits. Well, we don't really need to. As I just said, Michael Dooney did the cover, and then, of course, the book was created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Layard, which I love how they did right here. Co-creators, writers, and artists. Very awesome stuff. Okay, now diving into the plot. Now that y'all have had to hear me gush for a few minutes. Issue 1, obviously, is when we were introduced to the Turtles. They have the feud with the Foot. Leonardo kills the Shredder. Now, issues 2 and 3, oh, I would love to have those as well, but I've seen the price tags on them, and I just go, I said no, no, no. So if you guys know any good, obviously, if you look at this one, it's not in the greatest of conditions. I don't care, just to have it in my hands. If you guys know some good deals, let me know. Issue 2 and 3 introduces April O'Neil, Baxter Stockman, and the Mousers. So at the end of the last issue, Splinter is essentially taken by the Mousers, I think is how it happens. And just like in the the 88, 89 movie, the Turtles are shacking up with April. And we see here Leonardo in a reflective mood. It's only been a week since our master Splinter disappeared. But it seems like years. If he's dead, as we fear, we're alone in this world. Who will lead us, guide us? Our new human friend April has been very kind, putting us up here in our home, but she's not Splinter. No one can take his place. We'll never stop searching for him. Never. And so the brothers at this point, kind of in a sense, sort of winds down. They're like, let's go out and get some exercise, try to take our mind off it for the moment. And, they kind of start to joke with each other. Raphael's jumping, and I have no idea what the saying is. Kriga Bandolo. If y'all know what that means, let me know. To me, that's almost as foreign as that South Park episode with Raspberry Crunch, where he's like, Shagla Blue, or whatever it was, and he turns into his character. Anyway, as they're exercising, joking around, the Foot show up. And before we get into this awesomeness, I love the Frank Miller grittiness that was inspired by his books. I mean, look at the noir. And just that black and white just really adds to it, man. I've gone back and I looked at some of the later issues that were colored, but I don't know. There's just something about this that screams that old school independent because it's cheaper to print in black and white. It just does something for me, and I think that's what I love about it most. So as I just said, the Foot show up, and they're saying, for our master, and Oh my God, that would be something to print off and put on your wall, guys. Great perspective. Love the beautiful clean ink and the pencil work, the turtles. And that's another thing about the turtles that I loved in particular is I remember I'd watch the cartoon and I'm like, they look so subdued in the face. And, and then we look at the action figures and you're like, dang, they have that grittiness to it. And then I explained that kind of with the turtle blimp where all the toys always felt grimy, gritty, and dirty. And of course, the toy line was created before the cartoon. And of course, those go hand in hand. But I always preferred all the artwork that they took from Eastman and Layard because to me that just screamed Ninja Turtles. And this splash page right there on top of this New York skylight, oh, gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. And then we kind of just get these action panels like you would see in like The Dark Knight Returns. Michelangelo just knocking the shit out of them. And then, of course, the brothers helping each other out. Oh, it's just good stuff all around. And then, of course, the ultra-violence, because in this universe, the turtles do not play fair. Now, this was kind of funny right here. Raph gets knocked off the roof, grabs a clothesline, and he's thinking like in the movies, and he's like, that's not supposed to happen. And so we kind of get a cutaway to this couple. He's like, hey, honey, the kids are asleep. Or no, she says, oh, here, we must wait. We wouldn't want to wake the kids. And I had to reread that a second. He's like, come on, hon. Cagney's Lacey is over. Let's. And here comes Raph flying in. And he's just like, oh, ow, what a landing. Hi there. Sorry about your window. I better get going now. So, Raph's being a you-know-what blocker. And that's just absolutely funny. The bra strap hanging on his head. And just a little bit of levity to add to the ultra-violence that we see in this fight. And then Leo. Or it's Raphael. Again, that's kind of the problem with the black and white is you have a hard time differentiating unless you see the weapon or the text. So I will stand corrected there. But right here, as Raphael administers the coup de grace, or the coup de grace, however you want to pronounce it, his peripheral vision picks up something startling. And in his mind, a chord is struck. And we see TCRI by a name from the past. And this is introduced in the first issue of Ninja Turtles. This is the mutagen that changed the Turtles. Obviously, in The Secret of the Ooze, it was TGRI. I don't know why they changed it. But I love this perspective shot right here. You see the TCRI building. And this just looks like something you'd read in a manga, and the type of just that perspective down. I don't know, just a very, again, another breathtaking panel here. And so they're one to explore this, and then we get a recap of the Turtles, and of course that ode to Daredevil. On that day, 15 years ago, a speeding truck on a pothole street, a heroic act of a young boy, the canister smashing, throwing the Turtles into the sewer, and how Splinter came to raise them as his sons. And so this book is a lot about self-exploration, about where they came from. They said, we hope that Splinter's alive, but he knows that he'd want us to pursue this. And so with that said, which here just kind of where that April gets this real curly hair. That threw me off at first because she always used to the yellow jumpsuit and the brown straight hair. So, she's just like, I got a new dude. Okay, that another bit of levity. I'm trying to get to where... Oh, you know why? I'm having some misrememberment. I went back and kind of went through some online pages of issue 3, and I'm sitting here flicking trying to find them. But of course I'm not going to find them. Splinter wakes up, spoiler alert, wakes up in the TCRI building. So everything, there's this issue of a self-exploration, everything comes to a head. And what I love here is they're trying to figure out how to get into this building. They say that they've reconned, and they just can't find doors, windows, anything that would let them in. And so Leo says, well, let's try to go over to the next building and try to get in from the roof. And it's like, how do we get in? We can't go through, we can't go to the front door. And so Raph just smashes the freaking door open. And Leo's just like, your luck never ceases to amaze me, Raphael. And he just keeps kicking in doors. It's just absolutely hilarious. Donnie does some cool electronics to trick the cameras. And the TCRI building, in and of itself, I love these little moments of, they're going down these very sanitized halls. And all these electronics, like there's a room with a window, but I can't see anything on the inside. And it flips the POV. And so we start seeing some really rotten, scary things to come. And then, of course, just like any good creepy sci-fi, they try to come into some sort of a room that has some normalcy to it. And you're just like, well, what the hell does that mean? And this is where we're treated to, I believe you want to call this the second appearance of the Utroms, because they're introduced at the end of the last issue. And if you're not sure what the Utroms are, they were a brain race that were controlled by human-looking robots, hence where the creators of the cartoon got the idea for Krang. And I love how the turtles here, they're trying to use their, what do you call it, hideness, to not be seen. And Raph's just hanging out up here on the light. That's just a nice little bit of a jokester comedy there. And of course they find Splinter. And just look at this artwork, man. A lot of these modern books, unless they're indie, I don't see this type of detail and love and attention to detail like this anymore. And I saw that and I went, damn, that just takes my breath away. And again, here's the Utroms. So if you guys have never seen them before, you can see where they got the idea of Krang, except all the robots that they use when they're not in their meat suits, they look like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, of course, at this point. Because this is what, 87, Terminator came out in 83. So you can kind of see, and of course the turtles are getting their asses kicked them left and right, and they don't know what to do. And something happens that, from what I'm understanding, leaves them high and dry somewhere else. And it has to do something with Triceratons. If you're not sure what that is, I'd highly recommend, guys, if you can, God, this wrap cover is so gorgeous. Pick these up in individual trades if you got the, the walking around money, as they say. If not, these are all in, I believe, collected trades, compendiums that you can get through IDW. So if you want to just kind of save yourself a few bucks, I'd suggest going that route, because this can be treated, if I could talk, cheaper than trying to go the route that I am, where I'm a single floppy junkie. I love to have this originalness. Like, you smell the book and you smell that history on it. Just like when you walk into a library and you just smell the pages. It's just it's not the same with the trade. So with that said, thank you guys for hanging out with me and just sort of going through memory lane. I promise I can talk tonight. Not enough coffee. And, if you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and see if you can't find an original copy, or fingers crossed a reprint, or the collected compendium that we just talked about. And if you guys have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Utrom bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and cowabunga, true believers.